Behind the glamour, lights, and fame of vintage Hollywood lies a world filled with secrets, scandals, and shocking truths. In this video, we uncover the darkest hidden lives of 23 legendary stars who shocked the world when their real stories came to light. From secret addictions to forbidden romances and hidden crimes, these celebrities lived double lives far removed from the image they showed on screen. Errol Flynn, the swashbuckler with a dark past. On screen, Errol Flynn was the ultimate hero, charming, fearless, and adored worldwide. But his secret life was far from heroic. Flynn was infamous for his reckless lifestyle, consumed by alcohol, drugs, and scandalous behavior. His parties became legendary for their wildness, but they also concealed darker truths. In 1942, Flynn faced shocking criminal charges involving underage girls, though he was ultimately acquitted. Despite the legal outcome, the scandal forever tainted his reputation, and whispers about his dangerous habits followed him until his early death at just 50 years old. Behind his dazzling smile and adventurous roles, Flynn lived a double life full of excess, secrecy, and horrifying consequences. He became the perfect example of how Hollywood's golden idols often hid shadows darker than the roles they played. Judy Garland. To the world, Judy Garland was the magical voice of the Wizard of Oz and one of MGM's brightest stars. But behind her radiant smile, she endured a nightmare orchestrated by the Hollywood studio system. From the time she was a teenager, MGM executives forced her onto a strict regime of pills, amphetamines to keep her awake and working endless hours, and barbiturates to force her to sleep. They demanded she maintain an unnaturally slim figure, constantly criticizing her looks and even rationing her food. These pressures created a destructive cycle of dependency and self-doubt. Garland, once the symbol of innocence and hope, was trapped in a world where her value was measured only by profit. Her secret battles with addiction, emotional torment, and failed relationships painted a tragic contrast to her on-screen magic, proving that fame often comes at the cost of a broken soul. Joan Crawford, the star with a terrifying secret life. Joan Crawford dazzled audiences with her powerful performances and undeniable beauty, becoming one of Hollywood's most respected leading ladies. But behind the glittering facade, Crawford's private world was filled with horrifying secrets. To her fans, she was the perfect mother and glamorous icon, yet her adopted daughter, Christina, revealed a chillingly different story in her explosive memoir Mommy Dearest. The book accused Crawford of extreme abuse, controlling behavior, and violent outbursts that scarred her children for life. These shocking claims painted Crawford not as the loving matriarch Hollywood adored, but as a woman haunted by rage and obsession with perfection. While some defended her legacy, the allegations forever reshaped how the public remembered her. The horrifying contrast between her polished screen image and the monstrous figure described at home remains one of Hollywood's most disturbing hidden truths. Fatty Arbuckle, the scandal that shattered Hollywood. Roscoe "Fatty" Arbuckle was one of the biggest stars of silent-era Hollywood, beloved for his comedic genius and warm personality. But in 1921, his career was destroyed overnight when he became the center of one of Hollywood's first and most horrifying scandals. Arbuckle was accused of causing the death of young actress Virginia Rappe after a wild party in a San Francisco hotel. The press sensationalized the story, painting him as a monster and fueling a moral panic that shocked the nation. Though Arbuckle went through 3 trials and was ultimately acquitted, the damage was irreversible. Studios banned his films, theaters refused to show his work, and his once brilliant career vanished. Arbuckle's horrifying downfall revealed how quickly fame could turn to infamy, and how the secrets and scandals of Hollywood's golden age could destroy even its brightest stars. Montgomery Clift, the haunted heartthrob. Montgomery Clift was one of Hollywood's most gifted actors, a heartthrob whose intensity and vulnerability on screen won him worldwide admiration. But behind the camera, his life was marked by horrifying struggles that few knew. In 1956, Clift suffered a devastating car accident that left his face disfigured and his career forever altered. Terrified of losing his place in an industry obsessed with beauty, he spiraled into a world of painkillers, alcohol, and self-destruction. His personal battles were made worse by the pressures of hiding his sexuality in a time when Hollywood demanded secrecy. Friends described him as a tortured soul, brilliantly talented but consumed by inner demons. By the time of his early death at just 45, Clift was remembered as a tragic figure whose secret life of suffering contrasted sharply with his dazzling performances, embodying the darkest price of Hollywood fame. Marilyn Monroe, the blonde bombshell with hidden torment. Marilyn Monroe was the ultimate symbol of beauty, charm, and stardom. Yet her private life told a much darker story. Monroe struggled with crushing loneliness, failed marriages, and a dependency on prescription drugs that worsened under the pressure of fame. Behind the glamorous photographs, she endured depression, sleepless nights, and constant fear of being abandoned. Her rumored affairs with powerful men, including President John F. Kennedy, only added to the mystery and danger surrounding her. In 1962, her shocking death at just 36 years old was ruled a probable suicide, but conspiracy theories of foul play have never faded. To millions, Monroe remains a tragic figure, an icon who embodied desire on screen but carried horrifying secrets of vulnerability, manipulation, and despair off it. Her story proves that Hollywood's brightest light often casts the darkest shadow. Charlie Chaplin, comedy king with dark secrets. Charlie Chaplin made the world laugh with his beloved character, the Tramp. But behind his genius, Chaplin lived a secret life that shocked many. Known for his brilliance, he was also infamous for his relationships with very young women, some barely in their teens. Scandals and lawsuits followed him, painting a far less wholesome picture than his screen persona. In the 1940s, his personal life grew even more controversial when he was accused in a high-profile paternity case, damaging his carefully crafted image. Political tensions also led to him being labeled as un-American, and eventually, Chaplin was forced into exile from the United States. While history still honors his artistry, his secret habits and scandals revealed a disturbing side to the man who seemed so innocent on screen. Chaplin's horrifying double life showed how even comedy's greatest genius was haunted by controversy and secrecy. Jean Harlow, the platinum blonde with a tragic fate. Jean Harlow was one of the brightest stars of the 1930s, the original, blonde bombshell, who set Hollywood ablaze with her charisma. But her personal life was marked by horrifying tragedy. Married 3 times before the age of 26, Harlow's relationships were plagued with scandal and heartbreak. One of her husbands, Paul Byrne, was found dead in their home under mysterious circumstances, officially ruled a suicide but whispered about as something more sinister. Harlow herself battled declining health, which studios desperately tried to hide from the public. She suffered from kidney failure but continued working until her body could no longer endure the pressure. At just 26, Jean Harlow died, leaving fans stunned. Behind her radiant smile and glamorous appeal was a secret life of illness, grief, and mystery that revealed the brutal toll Hollywood's demands could take on its brightest young stars. Clark Gable, the king of Hollywood with hidden pain. Clark Gable, forever remembered as Rhett Butler in Gone with the Wind, seemed to embody charm, strength, and confidence. But behind the king of Hollywood's image lay horrifying personal struggles. Gable's greatest heartbreak came when his beloved wife, actress Carole Lombard, died in a plane crash in 1942. Devastated, he turned to heavy drinking and reckless behavior, unable to cope with his loss. He carried hidden guilt, believing his encouragement for her to travel contributed to her death. Gable also secretly fathered a child with actress Loretta Young, a fact hidden for decades in an era when scandal could ruin careers. While fans saw him as the ultimate leading man, Gable's personal life was consumed by grief, secrecy, and regret. His story proves that even Hollywood royalty carried haunting secrets that fame could never erase. Rita Hayworth, the love goddess trapped by secrets. Rita Hayworth was one of Hollywood's most enchanting stars, celebrated as the love goddess of the 1940s. But her real life was far from a fairy tale. Behind the glamour, Hayworth suffered from abusive relationships and heartbreaking betrayals. Married 5 times, she endured emotional and physical mistreatment from men who claimed to love her. Her marriage to Prince Ali Khan was filled with turmoil, while her union with Orson Welles left her insecure and lonely. In later years, her terrifying secret battle with Alzheimer's disease began to consume her, long before the world understood the illness. For decades, her symptoms were misinterpreted as alcoholism or instability, adding to her suffering. Hayworth's tragic story revealed the horrifying reality of a woman trapped between stardom and silence, remembered publicly as a goddess but privately as a victim of betrayal, abuse, and a cruel disease.